Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Good to see you all, good to see you. Okay, so what are we going to be doing today? I think what we're going to do is chill out a little bit. I have a whole host of very small things to do. So I've been working on some of them this afternoon, but figured might as well start up a stream and we can just work through some of these things. I don't know if it's going to be the most interesting stuff, but, you know, I've got a whole to-do list that's been filled up as a result of playtesting, the new map changes, and now the cats are going wild again. Why is it's like clockwork? It's like clockwork. Every time I start up a stream, it's up. The cats are up and about. Anyway. So I've already done a bunch of these things. Fixed a couple of bugs. Also changed the dowsing rod, updated the turn intervals of status procs like fire, poison. I adjusted some of the combat reward tiers. So yeah, more stuff in that realm. Right now I'm making it so that the reroll text for the artifact node is always available on screen, just to try to make that reroll option a little bit more apparent. So yeah, we'll just skip the ads for today, but all the ways you can support me in the game are linked in the description below, so check that out. Hello, the Malicious Rabbit. Good to see you again. Bonus stream hype. Good afternoon, Ninja Link. Welcome. Evening stream in this economy. Hello, Junie. Welcome back. Alrighty. So, play reroll in. So yeah, basically this text is going to be always visible, but now I need to manage the animations a little bit to make it look nice. And I'm just animating the number of texts, the amount of text being revealed by it. So let me see. Let me see if I can remember what I was doing. So play reroll in. Let's call this play reroll text in, play reroll text. Right, okay, so we need to do play reroll text in there. Right, this one. So this is the overall in animation. I guess I could just do mound subtween tween action. Play reroll text in. Set delay 0.75. So we'll do that. We can get rid of this one now, I think. This doesn't need to return a tween. Okay. I wonder if that's it. Let's see. So yeah, this text is just going to always be available on the artifact screen, the reroll text. Yeah, that looks good enough to me. The unfortunate thing is like it's shifting a little bit. That's probably because of the image. So let's see. This reroll text is... There's an easy fix for that. It's 13 pixels tall. So I think I just need to make the custom minimum size 13 pixels tall. That should fix the sort of jitteriness there. That is not fixing the jitteriness. I wonder why that's happening. Vertical alignment, we'll just change the vertical alignment, I guess. Fit content. Maybe it's the vertical alignment throwing it off. No, it's still jittering. Why is that happening? Oh, maybe because this image has bottom. Ah. So wait a minute. Okay, maybe I need to change this somewhere else then. So that's 13 pixels. I think maybe then what I need to do is theme overrides, fonts. Can I change the line size here? Well, that's kind of a bummer. Huh? Vertical alignment bottom. Visible ratio. So if I move this over, interesting. Characters after shaping. Ah, there we go. So visible characters, behavior characters after shaping. Okay. That makes sense. I didn't even know. I've literally never used this option before in my life. There's a first time for everything. But that works. So that jitter should be gone. Hello, Jackie Daytona. Welcome back. Good to see you again. What are the red rectangles with lock icons on them? Those are reference rects. Reference rect are basically just control nodes, but they render a border in the editor so you can see them. So basically, like, I'm just using those for layout purposes so I know what I'm looking at. And it's especially important for these things. These are clickable controls. This is a custom class that basically drives all of the clickable elements in my game. And these extend reference rect because I want to be able to see the clickable area. So for example, it's really important that the areas don't overlap at all. And so it'd be really difficult to sort of make sure that the areas aren't overlapping if I can't see the boundaries at all times. So like in this case, these pillars are very close to one another. And I just need to make sure that there's a gap between them. And so the visual guide helps with that. But the reference rect does not render the borders in the game by default, so you can just use it for editor purposes. How can I get notifications for when you stream? Well, if the YouTube notifications aren't working, you can join the Discord. I put notifications in there whenever I stream. And you can also go to Twitch if you prefer Twitch, twitch.tv/Firebelly. I'm streaming there at the same time, so. You're welcome, Bomb Bomb Dom, and welcome back to the stream. Hello, Calm Cud. TIL about reference rects, yeah. Super useful for editing UI things without much hassle. Yeah, I think so. We'll make that play out go a little bit quicker, I think. Where is that? So the reroll text out needs to also be played here. Actually, I wonder if the out animation gets played when I select one here. No. Okay, so let's just do a test event. Event type, artifact is 9. So now I've got only artifacts. I'm going to turn that tutorial off because it's annoying. Perfect. So yeah, just, you know, animate the text in. I can reroll if I want to. Then when I select one, that should probably play the reroll text out immediately after selecting one, actually. So maybe I'll do this. Do the play reroll text out right there. I probably also... The other problem is if I play this, if I do the skip button. Let me see what happens if I press the skip button. Actually, can I skip artifacts? I actually don't remember. Maybe I can't. Well, some events are not skippable. Okay, yeah, this is not skippable, so I have to take one. Okay, that looks fine to me. Cool, I think that works. Reroll text is always visible now. Goodbye. Okay, what else do we have? We have to rework the honey reagent. Keep artifacts always visible. That is something that I want to do. So we need to figure out what to do with legendary items. Rework all persistent state to use objects rather than tuples numbers. I need to do that. Artifact nodes need to be more frequent. So let's do this one. This one is just like a maintenance thing. So I have this persistent state object, which I explained earlier, but this is basically a way that I can store arbitrary data in the save file. And right now, it is... Yeah, I mean, I guess the problem is that it's not very extensible. So if I ever, for any reason, need to add an extra piece of data to this, I think that's going to be a little bit not good, a little bit cumbersome. So basically, anywhere where I have persistent state being stored, I'm just going to transform that into an object, like a class, and then I can just add new properties to it. So let's go ahead and try that. So we'll just start with the legendary ability here. So we'll just do private class, fire, persistent, state. Oh wait, no, I don't need to do that. Private class, fire, persistent state. I guess we can make it a record. More semantically appropriate, I suppose. if you want to be semantically appropriate. So we have the execution count. So public int execution count, get init. So this will become fire execution count instead. Oh, fire persistent state, I mean. Get, we are going to say new fire persistent state execution count equals that. Value.execution count. Cool. So the idea here is that now that this is an object or a record, I can add more properties here and that's just automatically going to work. So it's a little bit more compatible with the save file. Okay. Here we'll just do the same thing. Yeah, maybe I'll just call this state. Why not? So we have current combat victories, current charges acquired. That becomes state. That becomes that. Thank you, AI autocomplete. Very much appreciated. So like I said, this is just maintenance stuff that's going to need to be done, but I think it's going to be good. Private record state int current damage. This becomes state here. New state value.current damage. Oh, there we go. Okay. Cool. Unicorn horn. And this actually, we can just simplify this a little bit. We'll simplify this one as well. Cool. Alrighty, Flagram. That becomes state there. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Only a couple more to do here. Why is this different? Oh, this is a map node effect. I see. So let's just do private record state reward card ID. This becomes state. There we go. Cool. Same deal here. Amount, state, there we go. Okay, last one. Good. All right. So now let's just delete the save file and we'll try that. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome back. Good to see you. Always lurking. Very nice. Have you found that using AI code gen for things has made you less effective, like brain drain effect kind of thing? Sorry, let me change these options. I mean, I think that is a risk, which is why I will still write my systems or design my systems, even if they're with the aid of the AI. I try to understand what the AI is doing. I still kind of like enforce my design preferences on the AI when I'm like planning re-architectures and something, and stuff like that. And I also try to write the bigger features by myself, or at least like figure out the core parts of it myself. The stuff that I need to commit to memory, the stuff that I need to understand about how my system works, is stuff that I will make an effort to do myself. But for like rote stuff, like, I could have used Claude to do that. That's just like rote stuff that I don't necessarily need to put manual effort into. But yeah, I think that is a real problem. Like you could use the AI too much as a crutch and then lose sight of like how your system is working. And I don't want to end up in that situation for sure. Like I need to understand how all my systems work. So yeah, it's something that I'm being very careful about. And also there's the other part of it too. It's like, it's going to take all the fun out of it if it does everything for you, right? The problem solving and everything. Hello, Ariane. Welcome back. Hello, Electric Zax. Welcome to the stream. I just joined and noticed some tool where you were looking at what to do fix next. That's Obsidian. Obsidian with the Kanban plugin. And where do I get the feedback? So you can join the Discord and put feedback that you have about the game in the Discord at any point in time. But I do semi-regular playtests as well. Like every couple months, I'll do a playtest and people like you will be able to play it and let me know what you think. So yeah, that is how I'm doing that. Okay, let me add, I want to try something. Add artifact, unicorn horn. And then I don't know if that actually saves my save file, so I'll just go in. Let's just take one of these. Okay, Alchemortis JSON, unicorn, persistent state is acquired. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that this was using camel casing when it ends up in the save file. I think that's important. Okay, cool. So that persistent state is now an object. So you'll see that I have some artifacts here which have null persistent state, but when I do have a persistent state, I can now just stuff that object with whatever data I need to stuff it with. And so that's super useful. Okay, I think that's pretty much working. Maybe just for extra certainty, I'll add item flagrum, and I'll just make sure that that's getting added as well. Persistent state stacks previous stacks. Awesome. Okay, I think that's pretty much working. That was pretty much, I mean, that was like a one-to-one replacement, so. Okay. I'm kind of really paranoid about making sure that my save system is resilient to additional content or changes, because I don't want to have to like invalidate people's saves every time the game updates. So if I can make the save file as flexible as is reasonable up front, I think that's just going to make my life a lot easier down the road. Hopefully. Maybe not. What feature are you most proud of? Hello, Lex Pertha. Welcome, welcome. I think the ability system probably. I mean, that's like the core of the game, and it's also, I think, architected in a pretty interesting way. It feels nice and flexible. It feels predictable. and it's very easy to build like new abilities on top of it. So yeah, I think I like that system the best. I'm becoming a specialist on tabbing and accepting all. There you go. There you go. I've found much the same. I get worried that I'm not learning as much when I'm doing things I'm just not super familiar with AI help. Yeah. What's the objective this afternoon? Yeah, I'm just going through my to-do list, trying to get as much of this stuff done as possible. A lot of it is smaller work, but you know, we're just chilling. I don't have any major goals for the stream, just getting some to-do items done. Wish list of the game. I hope to see it soon. Awesome, thank you. Appreciate that. Did you just redirect user to logs? Is that possible? Yeah, it's possible. So if you go to your project settings and you go to wherever the log configuration is, I don't remember. I could search logging, but I'm not going to do that. File logging, here we go. So there's the feature flag system you can use, which is, I think, an underappreciated or underutilized feature. So you can see I have the log path, which is like the default Godot setting. The log path is going to user logs alchemortis.log, right? But what you can do is you can add overrides based on what feature flags or feature tags are currently present. So this has the debug tag on it, and the way you do that is you just select the option you want. There's this feature list here. So for example, if I wanted to change this setting for Android specifically, I could select Android there and click add, and that adds an Android override. So only when that Android flag is present in the build will this setting take place. So then I can do Android log here .text, right? And so the way I have it configured is that it just writes to the resources directory, which is my project root basically, when I'm in debug mode, but it writes to the user directory when I'm in release mode. You typically can't write files to the resource directory for released games because the PCK, I believe, is not editable at runtime, and that's where the resource points to, if I'm not mistaken. But because I'm running in debug mode, I can write to that location. So that just puts it right in that hidden logs folder right in my project root. So I don't need to go and open my user data folder every time I want to check the save file or the logs. Like all that stuff is just here, right? And then I also have the max log files debug set to 1, so I always know that whatever log is there is the most recent one. Can you stop? Can you stop, cat? What is your deal? Oh my gosh. I had no idea feature flags are a built-in thing. Yeah, it's very useful. I mean, you know, if you're doing like a demo build for your game, that's a good way. So I'm already using the feature flags myself. So I have a cheat version. Okay, cat, stop. Goodness gracious, it's hard to talk and have a cat on me at the same time. So I have this cheats build here. And this cheats build is exactly the same as the rest of these build, and I have a playtest build and so on and so forth. But the cheats build has the cheats feature added to it. And so there are certain things like that cheat console is enabled in the cheats build of the game. And so what I have the ability to do now is I have the ability to build the game in release mode, but with the cheats flag enabled. So if I wanted to test the game through Steam, but I wanted to give myself like the developer tools here, I can do that. So yeah, it's pretty dang useful. So it's the same version of the game that's going out to all branches, and then I'm just configuring the differences between the releases or between the build versions with the feature flags. And that makes sense. And so eventually when there's an Alchemortis demo, we'll probably do the same thing. Like in order to restrict the content or the experience in some way for the demo, there will just be a demo version of the game that has the demo flag enabled, and then all in the same code base, I'll just check, hey, do we have the demo flag enabled? If so, you know, terminate the run or whatever else, you know what I mean? Hello, V, welcome back. Good to see you. How are you doing? Artifact nodes need to be more frequent. I am going to just go ahead in my run map generator, and actually what I might do as well is I might remove base seeded run. because I don't need that anymore. Okay, what did I just say I was going to do? Did you know you could tear a UCL in your thumb? I didn't, but now I do. Oof, did that happen to you? Sorry about that. That sounds painful. Artifact nodes need to be more frequent. Valid event types. Let's clean this up a little bit. Oops. Why is this not indented? There we go. Valid start neighbor event types. Let's throw artifact in here as well. Why not? We'll throw max health there as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the artifact. Let's turn down the restriction. So the way that this works is this is actually using a wave function collapse-ish algorithm as well. So basically what it does when it's going to place the nodes, what it will do is it will place guaranteed events first. And it will choose random nodes. So basically every node on the map has a list of possible event types that it can be. And then I go through and I choose the lowest entropy node. So whichever node has the fewest available options available to it. And then I collapse that down. I choose an event from that list that that node can have. And then what I do is I have rules in place. So update entropy for place node. So based on which node type got placed, I will exclude that node type from other nearby nodes. So for example, when I place an artifact node, what I'm doing is I'm getting all of the nodes within a 3 node or a 3 hop radius of that node. And I'm essentially removing the artifact type as a possibility from them. And so what that does is that basically guarantees that in the map, there are no artifacts within 3 hops of each other. Now, I probably will change that. So this code was built originally for the free roam version of the game, but this may need to change. So instead of get connections within depth, this should probably be get outgoing connections within depth. Let's change all of these to get outgoing connections within depth, actually. Let's see if that makes a meaningful difference. Because what this was doing essentially was saying, so like with the directed graph approach, there are going to be certain paths that you just can't go down because of the choice that you made. But what this was doing before was just checking bidirectionally, right? It was doing a bidirectional check for all nodes within a certain radius, then excluding like the artifact from that. But I don't think that's appropriate actually anymore. What I'm after is I don't want you to get like a whole string, like 3 artifacts in a row in the same path, right? Now, I think I have some kind of this valid node. What is this? So there are some of these nodes where I do allow up to n number of sequential node types. So for instance, let me see. Actually, maybe the artifact is that way. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is I am... Right, so there's actually a little bit of a nuance here, which is that, so I'm checking all of the possible reachable nodes within 3 hops. And then I'm saying if there is more than one other node in that radius that has the artifact type, then we're going to remove that event type artifact. Remove index. Actually, is this even working? This might actually be incorrect logic. Because then it's going and removing all the artifacts again. Oh, no. I've got this wrong. What it's doing is it's saying, okay, if there are multiple nodes with the artifact event type available, if it's greater than 1, then what we're doing is we're choosing one to preserve. So that's what this all nodes with possible artifact is. And then for the rest of them, we're removing the artifact type. So we are preserving that one additional artifact there. So it is possible to get 2 artifacts in a row, basically, is what's happening here. But I'm going to change all this to get outgoing connections within depth. And that should hopefully make it feel a little bit more balanced. Exclusion zone. Okay, that makes sense. So then, but I also have another step in here, which is where I'm placing a guaranteed number of events on the board. So like I'm guaranteeing that there's at least 10 boosters on the map. And those guaranteed booster placements are at least 3 hops away from each other. So this is like an initial distributed placement of guaranteed events, and then I go and fill in the rest of them. Now, is this actually updating? Place guaranteed event. This is not updating entropy for placed node. Right, I mean, I have like a default exclusion, this distribution spacing, so when I place 6 artifacts on the map, they're all going to be at least 7 hops from each other. And then it does update the entropy for all of those nodes that got assigned. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, my athlete career is over. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Wave function collapse. Yep, yes indeed. So let's just take a look at what that looks like. So I didn't really make too many changes here. I didn't really make too many changes here. I just tweaked it a little bit. Oh, and the whole map is still artifacts. That's not helpful. I've got an artifact there. Oh, look at that. We've got 3 shop nodes here. So you see how those all exist on different paths, right? So the player can only move upwards. So that means that if I'm here and I go up to this shop, there is no way that I can get to those other shop nodes. In the previous system, it would have placed one shop and then said, okay, no nodes within a specific radius can be a shop. But what that meant is that you had to choose the right path to begin with. But now I've got 3 different path options that each contain a shop, and that's fine. So I can go this way, I can go that way, I can go that way, from here to here. And it looks like I can go from there to there as well. But once I get to one of these shop nodes, I can't visit any other shop. There's an artifact there. And then there's another artifact along that path. Artifact there. So I do think the artifacts probably need to be a little bit more frequent. I think there are there's 2 artifacts in a row right there. So that is working. I do think that they need to be a little bit more frequent though. artifact has a very low score here, so maybe we'll just turn this up a little bit. 6, and let's turn up grow board to 8. Why not? All right, so we've got an artifact there. Now, there's a very high likelihood, actually, that an artifact is going to be spawning near the start now, which may be a little bit of a problem. Because I don't know if any of the other options are going to be appealing if there's always an artifact there, but I guess it's not always. Yeah, a lot of these don't have artifacts. Okay, that's probably fine. Anyway, so there's an artifact there. Grow board, grow board. Artifact there. Artifact there. Artifact there. Okay. Ooh, there's 2 artifacts right off the rip. Oh my, this is kind of a weird region of the map. It's just kind of like spider webbing out. That's kind of cool. I do wonder if I should give the roads some kind of direction. And I still have to resolve this problem, so there's a problem here, which is that there's an edge connecting this artifact and this artifact, but it's very much overlapping with this, with that combat there. And so I need to figure out a good way of like patching that, because ideally I think what I would want instead is for this edge to be removed and for the artifact to be connected to the combat instead. So, but I don't exactly know how to handle that. I want to check my logs. Am I showing the distribution by type? Let's see. There are only 8 artifacts in the map, so that's a kind of a problem. How is that possible? "16 shops and only 8 artifacts." I wonder if I should just bring the artifact level up more. I think the artifacts are a big part of like the game and each run feeling interesting, so I want to offer a good amount of opportunities for the player to get artifacts. Let's see, 10 artifacts now versus 17 shops. So 10 artifacts in the whole game, and there's 70, let's just call it 75 nodes per region. And there's only 10 artifacts. Yeah, that seems a little bit wonky to me. I'm gonna make this more explicit. Oh, if it's not equal to event type.combat. What is it saying? If the place node event type is not equal. Oh, I see. That's the default behavior. So if we're not handling any other event types in the placement, then we're just going to use the default behavior, making sure there can't be two in a row. So that's what that's doing. And then what we're doing is we're getting all of the outgoing connections within depth. This may actually be wrong as well. Let me think about that. So this is basically going to go 2 nodes up. And it's going to check if any of those nearby nodes have an event type of combat. If has combat within radius, return. Otherwise, we're going to get the nearby nodes where the node possible types contains combat, and we're going to choose one. So this is trying to make it so that combats are within range of the upgrades and whatnot. I'm not sure how well that's working though, because you can see there's a combat here, but then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A string of 10 nodes where I don't encounter a combat at all. So I think that probably needs to be fixed. How common is that situation? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe that was just a freak generation. But I think there's an opportunity here to tighten the combat rules a little bit. I wonder if a slight tweak to this logic could work. So I think the problem is that it's looking for nodes within 2 hops of the current node, but then it's only forcing one to be a combat. But I don't think that handles the branching path, right? So if I were getting all the nodes within 2 hops of this node, for instance, that would be this node and that node, and this node and that node, and this node and that node, and this node and that node. But what I'm doing is I'm saying only one of those has to be a combat. So I'm almost wondering if maybe I changed that so it was based on the number of nodes within 2 hops. So I placed this booster and then I say, okay, there are 6 nodes within a 2 hop radius of this node. And maybe I could do something like 3 of them need to be combats or 2 of them need to be combats, right? I wonder if that would reduce the chance of there being long strings without combat. I mean, we could certainly try that. Let's see. I think this, I don't know, should we call that one done? Let's stay focused on the artifacts for now. I wonder, maybe I'll just make the artifacts. What if I bump it up to 9? Is that going to make a meaningful difference? Maybe check the other node next to it and see if the other one has an additional one before they reach the same one. Don't know how to explain it. Yeah, something like that. Chill game dev. When do we get angry game dev? Yeah, well, maybe. If you say the right thing, maybe. I'm just kidding. Wouldn't work now that I think about it. So I was thinking about node animations of nodes that can be visited by the player, like I mistakenly thought you added last stream. Hope it's not spammy, but here's what I came up with. Battle, swords hit together, enchant, tentacles wiggle, artifact, vase wobbles, reagents, leaves move, upgrade, hammer strikes. Yeah, that would be cool. That would definitely be a good quality of life improvement. I do think that the map is a little bit static. I would love to add some life, some more life to it for sure. So I'll definitely keep that in mind when the game is like, when we're in the phase of game development where it's like, okay, just got to get it nice and polished up for release. That would be the time where I would do stuff like that. How long have you been working on this game? Just over a year now. I started it in March of 2025 and it's now March 2026 and my life is slipping away from me and we're not going to think about it. But yeah, a year. Just about a year. Okay, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then when I come back, we'll continue iterating on this. Actually, let me just check. Still only 10 artifacts. I wonder if I should just bump this up. Yeah, maybe that's more appropriate. Anyway, I'll be right back in 3 minutes and we'll continue on. Okay, I'm back. Got married during game development? I did. Life is not slipping away, it's flourishing. Yeah. No, I was kidding. I was kidding. I like life. Life is good. Life is very good. Right now, anyway. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. After thinking about life, my man had to take a break, yeah. Yep, reconsider my choices. Maybe I'll go backpacking in Europe. I'll cancel Alchemortis and sell my worldly possessions and abandon my family and go into the woods. No, I don't want to do that. That sounds like... No, that sounds terrible, actually. Anyway, so we got more artifact nodes. Okay. Increase frequency of artifacts. All right, let's see if we can tweak this combat thing a little bit more. So let's do... So we're getting outgoing connections within depth. Candidates is equal to nearby nodes. So we're getting all the candidate nodes. Var nodes to change is equal to nearby nodes or candidates dot order by. Do we want to put an RNG operation in here? Do I have an RNG? Oh, I don't have any RNG. Random number generator RNG. Yeah, so I can do that here. Oh, we are using RNG. RNG order by x rng.randi dot take, and we're going to take candidates dot count divided by 2. We might as well just do a 2 list on this. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do for each var target in nodes to change. Node to possible event types target. We're just going to collapse that down to combat only. Okay, so what we're doing instead now is we're basically, for every 2 nodes that are within this 2-node hop that are unassigned. Is that what we want to do? For every 2 nodes that are unassigned, we'll force one of them to be a combat. I don't know if that's going to work. So we're getting like 92 combat nodes there. Let's see what happens. So how many combat nodes am I getting now? I actually got fewer combat nodes than I usually do. But let's take a look at this. 1, 2, 3. So that's a 3 hopper. 1, 2, 3. That's another 3 hopper. That might do it actually. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I am still getting... Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I am still getting some pass that are streaks of... long streaks of just upgrades. But I think generally speaking... it's a lot harder to go on a long upgrade streak without being forced into a combat, like without a combat being in the middle of your path. 1, 2, 3 combat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 combat. This map also for some reason generated with fewer combats than normal. 78 combats. So that's like roughly a third of the map is combat encounters. Does that seem right? Oh my gosh, there's 3 artifacts right there. That's kind of fun. 3 shops right there. Does that make sense? Yeah, this is just gonna be a matter of tweaking and playtesting a lot. It's hard to just use like raw numbers to determine if the flow is good. that's why I'm mostly just like looking at it and seeing, like I'm trying to imagine if I'm a player at this node, what would I feel like if I ended up, you know, getting those 3 artifacts like that? Like if I ended up here, I mean, that's kind of an interesting decision, right? Because it's like, okay, well, I'm guaranteed that I can get another artifact no matter which direction I go, except for these 2 directions, right? But I'm also going to see that there's a shop up here. And I might even be able to see that there's 2 shops up there. So I'm at this node, and I'm like, well, I could go this way, get another artifact and enchant and a shop. Or I could go this way and get a booster. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think maybe the obvious choice in this situation, for me at least as a player, would be to go this way. So I wonder if that's something that I should consider. Like, do I want there to be paths that are just obviously the correct path to take? Or do I want every decision about which path you take to be a little bit harder? The worst possible thing, I think, is having 2 forced shops in a row. 2 forced shops in a row. I wonder if we don't have any rules for shop placement. So I think one of the problems here, actually, get outgoing connections within depth. So this is only going one direction. That's only going up. But what I need this to do, actually, is I think I need it to look in both directions, right? So maybe what I had before was correct. Let me think about this. So I changed this to doing outgoing connections. What I'm really trying to say with this is I'm trying to say for every node that is along this path, which, I mean, maybe the way I had it before was correct. So get outgoing connections. This is only going to get all the nodes that are ahead of the node that we're looking at. But if I want to consider everything that is potentially along that node's path, I actually think I had it correct before, where this needs to be get connections. Let's see what that does. Are you basing the minimum amount of each node type the whole map or just the boss section? Basing the maximum amount of each node type on the whole map or just the boss section? Well, there is no strict maximum amount of each node type. There's a strict minimum, but then the rules of the map placement system kick in. Now there's 123 combats. The rules of the map placement system kick in and sort of like force soft caps on everything. "98 combats." So the other thing that I don't really want is I don't want long strings of combat encounters either. Like here, there's a string of 4 combat encounters. Wonder what happens. Maybe I could just turn this down even more. "82 combats now." So that's a string of 7 upgrades right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's fine. Let me think about this. So if I get connections within depth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So within 2 hops of this booster node, there are 13. Which means it's going to collapse 3 combats. It's going to guarantee 3 combats in that area. So maybe I just make that even tougher. I may need to come up with a more sophisticated way of doing this. So combat, 75 combats now. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have to think about this a little bit more. I guess we'll just leave it the way it is for now. I have to think about that some more. There's got to be a good way of making sure that combats are interrupting those long chains of upgrades. I'm not entirely sure what the approach would be. I need to go and think about that. But anyway, let's do this because this is annoying me. Remove base seeded run. I'll do that one later too. I don't feel like doing that. Okay. I think that's done. Well, maybe not. Anyway, let's take a look. So honey reagent, we need a different way of handling honey. Honey currently doesn't do anything now. Hello, Kelso. Welcome back. Good to see you. Alchemy remove negative. Removes 1 negative ability from alchemy output. So that doesn't really do anything. So we need to come up with a different ability for this honey reagent. Oh, 1 second. I've got to take this call really quick. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Working twice a day. Hello, Drake. Vandalheart using Trello? No, Obsidian. Obsidian with the Kanban plugin. All right, let's see. What can we do with this honey? Let me take a look at my ideas here. Alchemical reagents. Honey. Oh, we could, instead of doing like mystery juice, maybe we could make honey do this one. Add a random effect to item. Choose any item randomly and then choose a random ability from that item. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll do that. So mystery juice maybe is more thematic, but we do need something for honey. Let's see. Removes all abilities from a card. That could work. Actually, maybe we do that. Reagent that absorbs abilities can be reapplied to other cards. I already did that one. Modify turn cooldown is done. That's done. That's done. Or that's not relevant anymore, actually. Hello, Clicker Tail. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Let's do this one. Remove all abilities from a card. I think that will be interesting. Okay, let's do this. Let's get rid of Alchemy, remove negative. Remove that. Let's go to Alchemy, strip abilities. Or maybe we'll just do Alchemy, remove abilities. Maybe we'll do it with... I have to think about how this is going to work. What if it removed a random added ability? We can do a different reagent for that. I think it would be cool to have a reagent that strips all of them though, so you just get an empty card where you can just put whatever you want on it. Removed a random added ability. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, that one could work for sure. But let's make it remove all abilities here. Do we want to make it affect all of the cards? Something like that. Let's just change that wording there. Alchemy remove abilities. There are still some problems with Alchemy too that I'm kind of bouncing around in my head. I don't think there's, I mentioned this before, but I don't think there's much of an incentive to put multiple items in the Alchemy board at once. And I wonder if a simple fix for that, well, I need to change how the logic works, I think. Yeah, I need to think about it some more. But I'm thinking about doing like just a flat blood cost for alchemy. So instead of the alchemy cost increasing based on the size of the cards, maybe it just costs like 5 blood per alchemy. And so if you want to be more cost efficient, you can put more cards in the board. I don't know if that's going to go enough in the direction of making it more appealing to do multiple cards at once, but yeah, I got to think about that. Anyway, let's handle this one first. The main reason not to use multiple cards is that you just lose control over the results. Otherwise, you'd only do it for residue. Yeah. And that's why, like, maybe having multiple cards can actually control the result, right? So, like, what if there's a way to make it so that adding more cards actually increases the control you have rather than decreasing it? Okay. I actually don't know where to put this. Maybe I'll just do it in here. Huh? Alchemy added ability. Collect reagent stats. Maybe I should just follow this pattern that I have already. Cards to clear abilities. If cards to clear abilities dot contains card positive We'll just say new base abilities is equal to that. Okay. Collect reagent stats. Var remove abilities is equal to reagent card alchemy remove abilities.any. If remove abilities cards to clear abilities.add range. Maybe this should be a hash set. So it's a little bit messy, but that's okay. Union with. All right, well, let's just see if that works. Oh, it needs to only remove non-innate abilities, I think. So I think I need a little bit of an extra filter here. Oof. I actually don't know. This is turning into a mess. New base abilities is equal to new base abilities dot where x dot is alchemizable. So we need to keep the innate abilities. Okay, let's just try that. Hello, Artem. Welcome back. Good to see you. All right, let's do this. Add item giant mushroom. Add item honey. So if I do this, this should clear everything except the innate ability, and it didn't work. That's cool. Let's just put a breakpoint there and see what happens. Yay for keeping innates. Now we can purge non-soul abilities. Oh, that's true. That's true. Anyway, kids are bugging me to go to the park, so I'll catch you later. Have a great one. All right, sounds good. Thanks for joining, Ninja Link. Enjoy your evening. And I hope to see you in the next one. What the heck? Why is this not working? Put a breakpoint there. I'm sure I just did something. Wait a minute, non-reagent input cards is empty? Oh, why is that empty? Oh, that's why. Ah. Okay, that's fine. We'll just set those up there, and then we'll do collect reagent stats after. That should fix it. That whole alchemy system is a mess. I need to figure out something about that. And then it removed only the innate ability. All right, I'll get it working. I will get it working. Here we go. So it's going to preserve the non-alchemizable abilities. Okay, this should work now. And of course I got a legendary. Of course I got a legendary. But it worked. It just added a legendary ability. Okay, so that is clearing all the abilities now. All right, so that's good. Now there's one other thing that I want to try, which is that if I do add item honey with add item gemstone, and if I do both of these at the same time, I want to ensure that that's going to actually add another ability slot. So when I do honey, so what I should end up with is a skeleton warrior with 3 empty slots, if it works properly. Yes. Very cool. Yeah, so maybe that honey will be reworked in the future, but I'm sure I'm going to need to rework a lot of these reagents once I figure out how to incentivize the player to use multiple cards in one alchemy output. I mean, I think this is another place where maybe a radical change is necessary. Not the alchemy system generally speaking, but yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Honey now removes all abilities from cards. From items. Okay. Done. Maybe I should just look for output. I'm just going to remove this output language from here. Change that to gain. I'm gonna have to do like I'm gonna have to go through the language in this game and just do a very large pass on it, standardize everything, but that's okay. All right. So what else can we knock out here? This is an interesting one that I would love to try to do, so let's just go ahead and do it. I do want to do this too. I do need to figure out what to do with legendary items, and I do need to figure out how to incentivize players to use multiple cards, multiple items in alchemy. Okay. So this one that I just dragged over, this make artifacts always visible. So now that we don't have like the Inquisition bar across the top of the screen, I was thinking that I could just keep the artifacts visible always instead of animating them in and out. So let's see, artifact animation root. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And we'll get rid of that. So this will just be a quick test to see what it looks like when it's always visible. And we're probably going to want to shift that over. So maybe I can actually just change the animation here. Let me try that. Play expand animation. So actually this is going to be relatively easy. I think I can just do get collapsed position. Where is that? This would be return new vector 2, negative 103, 102? I actually don't remember. Fact. Artifact animation root. Margin left is 137. But this size here, let's see. This is the size that I'm interested in. That's 102. Yeah, so if I just do minus 102, 0. I wonder if that would work. Is Godot language easy to learn? Yeah, it's relatively easy. I mean, if you have previous programming experience, it can be easier as well. Maybe a Slay the Spire style ribbon at the top makes the artifacts more readable against the map nodes. Seeing artifacts on top of nodes looks odd. Yeah, that's true. I mean, how do we feel about that though? So the artifacts, so barring any additional like UI to separate them, do we like the artifacts always being visible? Let me add some more. So here's a bunch of artifacts on the screen now. And if I open this up, they get animated over. Could just make an option to keep it visible. No, I don't want to do a whole bunch of branching settings. Like, obviously there will be some settings, but I don't really like the solution. I'm just like, well, I don't know which approach is better, so we'll just let the player use the settings. I think that the UX and the UI should be designed in a way where there is no need for a setting because it just feels very natural. I prefer artifacts to always be visible, that way I don't have to open another screen or start combat to check what I have already. I'm using Godot 3.5, does it change anything with the code? No, not really. I mean, Godot 4 introduces more more stuff you can do with the language, but it doesn't change fundamentally, no. So you should be fine. An issue I encounter myself is that if I do runs over and over again, I tend to forget what build I have going for it. Right. So you prefer artifacts to always be visible, that way you don't have to open another screen. Yeah. So we do like that then, right? I wonder if... I don't know. Should I align that with the top of the... let's see. Let's get rid of the margin top. And then how far down is this? Let's see. 17. Of course it has to be 17 pixels, of course. 17. I have an idea. Now it's 16. Wait. Did I measure it wrong? Oh, 16, yeah. Okay. Hope that doesn't fundamentally break anything. Shouldn't. It's just an alignment change. Okay, so 16 and then artifact container, artifact animation root. Let's do a margin top of 16. So these lines should be aligned now. Perfect. I don't know if that's going to look good. Oh, shoot. I shouldn't have changed my freaking... But the artifacts are going to be aligned with the button now. I don't know if that's too far off the edge of the screen, but... Actually, maybe that is fine. Maybe that padding is fine. It feels like a little much, though, I guess. I can put it back to 8. The problem is if I do it as 8, it looks misaligned with the button, which is kind of weird. I mean, do we like that alignment or no? Understandable, I like that approach. Is the best way to avoid... Is this the best way to go avoid going crazy to start with code? Is it to use Godot only to fix the UI? I don't know what you're asking. The best way to avoid going crazy about what? Is it to start with the code? Is it to use Godot only to fix the UI? Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Do we like this approach? Oh, but it's blocking the inventory text now. Okay. What if I did the artifacts? Would it look weird to center the artifacts across the top of the screen? Oh yeah, that's gonna look weird for sure. Now this text looks weird when I hover over this. Ah, thwarted by UI again. So I wanted to ask you if I can go straight away with the code. Yeah, I mean, I think, like, if you want to use Godot and you want to learn Godot, you're going to have to learn both parts, the code and the engine, in conjunction with each other. So there are going to be some situations where using the code is appropriate, and there's going to be some situations where you should be doing all of your, or not all of your work, but you should be doing your work in the engine, right? So like, obviously, if you're setting up a node, if you're setting up a scene tree, right, you're going to be doing that all through the editor. But then the code is where you go to infuse that tree with functionality. And so, yeah, maybe I'm still misunderstanding your question, but if your goal is to learn Godot, then yes, you're going to have to learn the code and the engine at the same time. And that's going to be somewhat of a big difficulty curve, especially if you're a beginner. But if that's your end goal, it's like that's, yeah, you just have to get over that difficulty curve. What you can do, though, is if you're having trouble with the programming part or the coding part specifically, what you can do is you can go study programming and coding generally just by itself. So you could do JavaScript, Python, whatever language seems appealing to you, and just do like a couple of tutorials just focused on just the pure programming aspect. Even if it's not in GDScript, that's okay, because the programming fundamentals, those skills are going to carry over into GDScript. So if you're having trouble like learning the engine and learning the code at the same time, learning the fundamentals about code first can help to flatten that difficulty curve a little bit, so that when you go into the engine, you can spend more of your mental effort trying to learn the engine itself rather than how to write the code, right? How many monitors do you have right now? I have two. I have two 1440p monitors. I find that any more than two is like overkill for me. I tend to get lost with two screens. I think 3 screens would be a disaster for me. Plus, I don't really have room for 3 screens anyway, so it's all good. I don't know about... I mean, I like the artifacts being visible always. It's just now this text looks a little bit weird being like shoved right under that. Lower the inventory button so it's vertically aligned with the stash text, maybe. I suppose that's an option. Let's just, while we're playing around with it, we might as well do that. So this is going to need to... let's just change this to margin top 8 again. Oh, the combat log is here. Oh, I see. Okay, that makes sense. So I should actually be able to just... I think I can just change the margin top here, actually. Let me see. Yeah. So it's not aligned with the text per se, but it is aligned with that part. Okay, and then for the artifact, Maybe? Does that look right? That still looks weird to me. I mean, I do like the inventory toggle being there, though. I think that looks much nicer right there. So I think I'm happy with that change. While we're here, I might as well tweak this combat log stuff. I suppose that's better. I'm just thinking to have a 3-screen monitor. Yeah, 3-screen. Yeah, like I said, it's too much for me. Your game is like a puzzle, right or wrong. However, it's not about moving a sprite, collisions, etc. Yeah, I mean, at what point does a puzzle game become a strategy game, right? I think the better descriptor for this game that I'm making is strategy. But yeah, I mean, there are certainly, I think with all strategy games, there are puzzle elements, right? Like, you know, what is the best option here? How do I make do with the tools that I have? That kind of thing. The cauldron's so juicy. I'm glad you like it. Do we like this artifact positioning or not? I mean, I do like the new position of the button, so the artifacts are basically going to have to go there anyway. It's just a matter of, do we want to keep them there or not? You think it's good? Okay, give me just 1 second here. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I have a 1440p monitor to my left, an ultra widescreen in the center, and 1200p digital drawing screen on my right. Dang, that's quite a setup. Ultra widescreen. That's interesting, because I think usually when people get ultra widescreens, it's so that they don't have to have multiple monitors, right? But yeah, interesting. I think it would be cool. I mean, I think it would be cool because like there's a wall right here. So it would be cool to have like a third monitor that's like on the wall, or maybe like a TV style thing where I could just put something up there, like, I don't know, something that I need to reference, or it could just be like a YouTube video or something. Or I could put like, oh, you know what'd be cool actually? I could put a monitor right behind the camera with the OBS on it, so that when I'm reading your chats, it kind of looks like I'm looking at the camera. Anyway, is it a Wacom or something like that? Anyway, okay, so we do like the artifacts being there. Let's just keep it there for now. We can always tweak the UI. The one thing that is bothering me though is that this does not have the same transition animation as the drawer. This needs, oh, it is the same transition. It just needs to have the same timing, that's all. So there, and then down here, this needs to be 0.25. Okay, let's take a look at that. When I worked at MS, I saw a dude in the office that had 9 3x3 monitors. It was nuts. Oh my gosh. From what I recall, he's a DevOps guy. Well, that makes sense, I guess. That makes sense. Oh, that's not right. Set delay 0.1. You've had it for over a decade. Nice. Okay, so now the artifact, even though that is technically animating independently, it is matching the animation exactly, so it looks like it's fixed there, which is good. Okay, so add artifact. I think that's probably okay. The one thing that I think I will do now, though, is I will just make this... Let me think about this. This artifact container, I think this is supposed to be... (18 by 18). I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do here. Artifact container. Huh? Let me look at something actually. Open file, assets, artifacts.asprite. 24 by 24. Let's do this instead. Let's do 24 plus 16. Now, why doesn't that seem right either? Is this a good idea? What I was going to do with this mouse now is do mouse filter stop on that. The idea being that that should prevent situations where like I can click on the nodes behind the artifact. Although I guess that doesn't feel very good. So basically, like, I can't click on this node because there's an invisible box preventing that. And so that way, if I'm like hovering over my artifacts, I'm not getting that node being hovered behind it. That might be okay, because you're not going to be able to click on nodes that far up anyway. Like, no one's going to be trying to like click on this node back here, right? If you're going to go up to the top corner of the screen or the top edge of the screen, it's going to be because you want to look at the artifacts. And even in this situation, right, it's like it's only expanding to fit the artifacts. So I can still hover over that one, but it's just like when that's blocking, you know, it's not going to be weird and I can click behind it. So that's probably all right, I guess. Okay, I think that probably is okay. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, if it's a little bit weird, we could fix it in the future, but that looks fine to me. So we'll worry about, you know, if we need to address that in the future, we could do that. But okay, make artifacts always visible. So the main reason why the artifacts were not visible before is, again, because of that Inquisition strength bar. If the artifacts were to grow too large, they would overlap that. But now, you know, we have plenty of real estate across the entire top of the screen. And there's currently nothing else to put there, so might as well just stretch the artifacts across the top of the screen. You know? And that should be enough room. Like, I shouldn't need to handle the case where they wrap, because, like, yeah, I just don't think it's going to be possible to get that many artifacts in a game. Okay, alright. So that seems good to me. You want to upgrade to that 4K at some point? Specs are really not up to date. That's like over 20. Yeah, it could be something like that. I mean, maybe not even that. Oh, maybe 20. Let's see. 28. It looks like 28. Anyway, that's going to be it for the stream for this evening. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go eat some dinner now. But I appreciate the support. Again, you can wishlist Alchemy on Steam. I would very much appreciate that. And yeah, I'm basically just probably going to keep knocking out these to-do items here. And we're working closer to hopefully doing a playtest soon. And we'll see what you all think about the new map changes and all that. But yeah, thanks again, everyone, for watching. Very much appreciate it. Check out the description below for all the ways you can support me and the game. And I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, I can't stream tomorrow at the usual time. So keep an eye on the Discord when I go live tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.